every time we've no control. If the sky is pink and white, if the ground is black and yellow, it's the same way you showed me. Nod my head, don't close my eyes, halfway on a slow move. It's the same way you showed me. If you could fly, then you'd feel south. Up north's getting cold soon. The way it is, we're on land, so I'm someone to hold true. Keep you cool when it's still alive, won't let you down when it's all ruined. Just the same way you showed me, showed me. You showed me love, glory from above. It's all downhill from here. In the wake of a hurricane, dark skin of a summer shade, nosedive in the floodlines, tall tower, milk crate. It's the same way you showed me. Cannonball off the porch side, older kids trying off the roof. Just the same way you showed me. You showed. If you could die and come back to life, up for air from the swimming pool, you kneel down to the dry land, kiss the earth that birthed you, gave you tools just to stay alive and make it out when the sun is ruined. That's the same way you showed me, you showed me love, glory from above. Regard, dear, it's all downhill from here. Real life, remember how it was. I'm cheap, Michael Jackson, all this shit. Say what up to Maggie, the shoe. Say what up to Penny. Say what up to life. I'm telling you. So sweet, which I might like immortality. This is life, immortality. The way every day goes, every time we've no control. If the sky is pink and white, if the ground is black and yellow, it's the same way you showed me. Nod my head, don't close my eyes, halfway on a slow move. It's the same way you showed me. If you could fly, then you'd feel south. Up north's getting cold soon. The way it is, we're on land, so I'm someone to hold true. Keep you cool when it's still alive, won't let you down when it's all ruined. Just the same way you showed me, showed me. You showed me love, glory from above. It's all downhill from here. In the wake of a hurricane, dark skin of a summer shade, nosedive in the floodlines, tall tower, milk crate. It's the same way you showed me. Cannonball off the porch side, older kids trying off the roof. Just the same way you showed me. You showed. If you could die and come back to life, up for air from the swimming pool, you kneel down to the dry land, kiss the earth that birthed you, gave you tools just to stay alive and make it out when the sun is ruined. That's the same way you showed me, you showed me love, glory from above. Regard, dear, Say what up to Becky, the shoe. Say what up to Penny. Say what up to life and mortality. Running on my bikes, running up. Not for me, 18, still in granny 6. Give me something sweet, bitch, I might like immortality. This is life, life, immortality.
Hello everyone, my name's Scene. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is February 2nd, 2023, 2/22/23, and Bitcoin is at support. Okay, it's been in a trend for 50 or so days. Yeah, it's been in a relatively strong uptrend for 50 or so days, and it has retraced back to support. But you wouldn't know that by looking, around YouTube, around crypto Twitter, right? Everybody's very bearish. Not everybody, but most people, right? The thumbnails, once again, exaggerating the correction, right? Bitcoin and any other asset in human history, when going and trending in any direction, never goes in a straight line, has never gone in a straight line. You always have a trend and then a counter trend. As traders, as market speculators, we want to focus on the trend, not the counter trend. The counter trend is good for entries. Okay? The counter trend is good for exits. The counter trend is good to disambiguate the trend. Trading the counter trend is an amateur move, yeah, because it's a high risk, low reward play, yeah. The counter trend is it gives little in terms of the relative move, right? So the trend is typically the larger move, and then the counter trend is typically the smaller move, and the counter trend is by definition mercurial. It's by definition unpredictable. Okay, because as we can see here rather, in this chart, it looks like we got a triple three, right? A W, I would call this a triple three, a WXYXZ, okay, which is a triple three complex correction, WXYXZ correction. But most people, myself included, yesterday were saying that this is probably some sort of triangle, and we were looking for the triangle, ascending triangle, right? And it broke down. And so most people, not really thinking much about what they're looking at, think it's over because it broke down from the triangle, even though it didn't have to be a triangle. There's no such requirement from the price action for this to be a triangle. It doesn't have to be a triangle. It could be whatever the hell it wants. All it has to do is counter correct this trend, okay? And that's exactly what it did, right? Putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, the WXYXZ, which it is what it looks like. Most importantly is the fact that it's on support, okay? If you zoom out, again, I always say on this channel, it's just a game of support and resistance. And, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of influencers in Twitter, in crypto Twitter rather, on crypto Twitter or in the space, in the cryptocurrency space, will distract from that because maybe they're not interested in actually doing serious analysis, right? You have to think about that as a consumer. What are you consuming? You have a catchy thumbnail. There's nothing wrong with that, right? With the mouth open and, a surprise face and, something. You have to make a strong statement. Either you're really bullish or you're really bearish. Nothing in between. Not, same as always. You have to draw an audience. But remember, if you're looking for information, reliable information about what's going on, you have to rely on yourselves, right? And understand that the market's not always doing something significant, right? If it's going up and down in this range, you could say that's significant, but not really to the overall trend, right? A break of this support would be significant, okay? Just like a break of this resistance would be significant. You guys have to disambiguate from the noise. There's so much noise out there. Like, people saying they're giga long, and then 3 hours later, 1 candle later, 2 candles later, they're giga short. Do you understand? As traders, yes, you can make money anyway, right? You can scalp, you can swing, you can position trade, but you're less likely to be profitable. You're less likely to be consistent when you're changing your bias every 2 seconds, right? Here, it's very clear. You have a trend, a counter trend. You have good support. You buy on support. I know it's scary, but you buy on support. Not financial advice, but that's what I did. I bought more, okay? I bought some Litentry, and I bought some super rare, or looks rare. Damn it, I don't even know what I bought. I did do a bit of research, right? We're in a bull run, so come on. You can't blame me for thinking everything is going to sprout or flourish. But I think I bought super rare or looks rare. I don't exactly know which one. But I bought RARE. Okay, and I looked at the chart. I looked at the website. Looked okay to me. So that's the idea. Bitcoin is on support, and it should be going up, and we should be attacking 25K from this support level. That's pretty much it, right? Do expect another good, interesting clue that lets us know that this is a counter trend, and this is a trend. I mean, it looks like a trend and counter trend, but also remember our relationship, or remember the moon phases phenomenon, right? We talked about this before on the channel, where on a new moon you can expect assets to reach a local high, right, on the new moon, or 0 to 3 days after the new moon, and 0 to 3 days after the full moon, you should expect an asset to reach a local bottom. And that's what we're seeing. And I've said before on the channel, this is true, and there are studies corroborating this, supporting this, really serious studies, right? You can look it up. But I don't use this when we're not in a trending market, right? In the different phases of the market, I found through my personal research and through my personal experience that it's only relevant, right? This new moon, full moon kind of trading indicator. It's only really useful in a trending market. So we are in a trending market. It doesn't seem like it is, but as I said yesterday, once we pass 25, it'll be more apparent. It'll feel more like a trending market. But as you can see here, the new moon was on the 19th. Yeah, the 19th, right here. And you saw that on the 23rd, right, which is 19, 20, 22. Was that 3 days? Well, it was already on the 22nd we started going down. We actually initiated this move on the 20th. So 1 day after the new moon, we got this move, right? So this is something to be expected. But again, people can overreact, and I understand that it's kind of boring to say nothing's really changed, right? If you're a content creator and you're looking for clicks, you're looking for engagement, it's much more attractive to say it's going up. No, it's going down. It's going up. It's going down. Oh my God, what do we do? You know, and actually do that kind of thing and engage your audience and say, yeah, I'm trading it this way and I'm trading it that way, and give them the play-by-play. But in actuality, even if you do give them the play-by-play, practically speaking, there's not much to be done in a correction other than protecting against downside and looking for more entries to trade the trend. You want to trade the trend. That's really the best way to be profitable, the best way to be consistent, because it's so easy to get chopped up in these counter trends, okay? So that's Bitcoin. That's why I'm still very, very bullish. Nothing's changed there. And this is why I think that we're going to see a move today, because we're currently at support. Okay, we're currently at support of this larger trend. And that, you know, this is not a trend that we just drew. This is something we had in yesterday. What's going on with my... There we go. This is something we had in yesterday, right? So, moving on, it's important to also look at what's going on in the US dollar currency index, okay? The DXY, right? The underlying asset to it all. And we were saying yesterday that this is likely a bear flag, right? Where you have an impulse, some sort of corrective flag, and then ultimately a breakdown. And thus far, this is what it looks like still, okay? We can see that if you take the Fibonacci retracement tool from the top to the orthodox bottom of this impulse, your phi ratio is 0.618, is exactly where you got rejected. And if it is a bear flag, if it's a zigzag to the downside, you cannot exceed the 0.618. You cannot breach the 0.618. So thus far, it's looking like a bear flag. Again, even if it's not a bear flag and it's not this zigzag to the downside, then it can still be bearish, but then we'd have to come to at least the 0.786, right? And then it would be a flat correction where we go boom, boom, boom. But thus far, it's looking like a bear flag, yeah? So if we look at our momentum indicators on the hourly time frame, we're crossed bearish. Actually, we're about to print serious bearish divergence, strong bearish divergence right here, as you can see. You can see a higher high here on the price action and then a lower high here on the momentum indicator. It's not crossed yet, but it's about to, maybe in the next hour. And so you should see strong bearish divergence on the hourly time frame for the DXY. On the 15-minute time frame, okay, you're crossed bearish, you're going down. On the 4-hourly time frame, you're completely overbought. On the daily time frame, you're completely overbought. On the weekly time frame, you're overbought. Okay? So for people who are thinking, obviously, it doesn't have to be stated. If you're watching this, you probably already know the DXY is inversely correlated to risk on assets, right? So if the DXY, the US dollar, is relatively valued at a high price, right? Then risk on assets, Bitcoin, crypto, the Dow, NASDAQ, the S&P, they're all going down, right? That's what the relationship has shown for the past 10 to 12 years, at least in Bitcoin, and vice versa. When when the dollar is relatively strong, then these risk on assets tend to lose value. Okay, it's just a common sense relationship. Given that the dollar is the underlying asset, it's what you buy these risk on assets with, right? So it makes sense. You want to hold dollars if dollars are going to outperform these risk on assets. And so yeah, that's pretty much it with the DXY. You're getting that relationship. You're getting that move that we've been waiting for. It's just, this is a counter correction. This is a trend. This is a counter trend. Okay? So if you look and see there's been a lot of up and down and up and down and up and down. That's quintessential of a B wave or an X wave. That's quintessential of a counter-corrective wave, right? There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of effort, but there's very little actual momentum there. So you quickly exhaust the momentum indicators to whatever side you're going, in this case, up. So do expect that to be lost. Obviously, you can also look at it as a rising wedge, and these typically break down, okay? So that is very bullish for Bitcoin. So going back to Bitcoin, we do believe that we can hold this level. The other thing I'll say is if you turn on your momentum indicators, you're completely oversold on the 4-hourly time frame. You're completely oversold on the hourly time frame. And the 15-minute time frame looks like you're overbought, but you're coming back down. 15-minute is such a small time frame, it could stay overbought if we do start trending back up. But that is significant, especially the hourly and the 4-hourly. Being oversold at support is a good indication of going back up, right? If you're oversold at support, that basically means that the momentum indicators and the price action are they are synced. They are saying the same thing, that you're likely to get a move up. So now let's look at some altcoins, right? Similarly, you have Cardano. Let's turn off this moon phases indicator. And guys, I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great day. Please like the stream if you're getting value. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Would love to have you. Daily Bitcoin updates, at least Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday, I put out a pre-recorded video that I record on Saturday morning. All right, Cardano. Again, you're looking at this as a trend counter trend relationship, okay? What tells you that? Well, for one, it's a 3 let's see. I'd actually say that this is a WXYXZ as well. 3 3 3 3 5. Okay, so here again we see that there's a breakdown of what was seen to be a triangle, okay? But still, you're just looking at a 333 correction, right? That's just a complex correction. And that looks like an A wave, B wave relationship, because if you take your Fibonacci retracement tool, you can see that the entirety of that 333 is happening above the 0618 Fibonacci retracement level, which you should expect for a zigzag. So a zigzag again is a 535 retracement, or a 535 retracement, 535 corrective pattern, where you get 5 waves up, 3 waves, or a variation of 3 waves. So in this case 5 waves, but you could just say a flavor of 3, and then you get a clean impulsive 5 moves up. So that's what you're looking at here. You're putting in corrective waves at a high time frame resistance, which this is 41 cents for Cardano is a really high time frame resistance. If you zoom out, you'll see that very clearly. Okay, let's pull out the rectangle since this is a straight line. Okay, and just a point of order, the reason I represented this support resistance level in Bitcoin with a line is because it was slanted, and I can't use the rectangle box and I can't slant the rectangle box. It can only go straight, and that's important because as I always say, when you're looking at support and resistance, you're really looking at levels, not discrete prices. Like a lot of times you'll hear people say, we have support at 23,568. Okay, and they may also intend to say we have a support level around 23,568, because when you're looking at support and resistance, you're actually looking at these levels. And you can see that here, actually. Let's go on the 4-hourly time frame. I think this is worth discussing just briefly. You can see, look, when I said we're at support, you can clearly see that there's quite a bit of, it's not a clean support, but there's just a lot of price action and it's a bit muddled and there's a bit of variance here, okay? And that's probably why you're coming down and you're coming down. It's not a clean line, right? And so I think the best way to represent that would be with a level. That's why I drew two lines, but essentially I had one just because, you know, it's I'm lazy. But I don't want to misrepresent the concept of support and resistance, which is crucial to any good trading scheme, any good trading thesis. And it's more accurately depicted by a level. But sometimes that level can be so strong, and you do see clean support and resistance that can be represented by one specific line because the support is so uniform. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, back to Cardano. You can see that the level of resistance that you're dealing with is essentially a huge channel that you were in. I remember this channel. I traded this channel. I thought we were going to go from this channel, and we broke down, and I lost a big position. And I was like, okay, that's a good lesson. I did put a lot of money on it, but I could have sworn that this was not going to break down, because for 146 days, you had been in this channel, trading in this channel, clean channel, and then you finally broke down, and I was incredulous. I couldn't believe it. So I was like, you basically proved that this was strong support for 146 days, and it looked very much to me like you were putting in a consolidation reversal channel. And a lot of other assets did break out of their respective channels, but then Cardano broke down. And why? Maybe because it's one of those assets that has really attractive staking rewards, and people continuously take profits. So it just has messy consolidations which resemble really bearish, down into the right consolidations. In any case, the idea that you are consolidating at this resistance isn't crazy, right? You came the first time, you got rejected, you came back up, you're retesting it, and now you're consolidating at resistance with this move. So again, it's really important to zoom out and understand the story, the overall understanding, or the overall story that price action is telling you. So often people are zoomed in to their 5-minute charts, their 12-minute charts, whatever Market Cipher uses, and they're using their indicators and they can't see the forest through the trees. And it's not a very profitable way to trade, because it's risky to just go in and out and in and out and in and out and actually fade a trend. Okay, it's actually better in the long run, and we'll see it very soon, to feed a trend. So every time you have the opportunity, especially in the beginning of a trend, you buy the dip. Every time you have the opportunity, you just stay put. Divesting yourself of your positions, maybe it pays off initially, but eventually, most traders who just stand pat, let the trend play out, right? Trade the trend. They tend to outperform those who overtrade it. So that's the story on the high time frame, which should inform your small time frame, low time frame decisions. So on the high time frame, if you understand what's going on here, that this is staunch resistance, you came up, rejected, right? And that was a clean rejection in 3 waves. You came back, and now you're consolidating at resistance, in this 333 correction, you know that your next move is going to break that massive resistance, right? Because it was 146 days back then. But now, if you look at it, all in all, this represents about, what? 281 days of resistance that you're going to break with Cardano with this next move coming. So you don't want to sell this, right? Like if you really read charts, you're doing everything you possibly can to get into this long position, to go long on this, because you can see as you're consolidating at resistance, you're likely to break it and put in some violent price action to the upside, okay? Because you're breaking 281 days of resistance. So this is the idea, this is the mindset, in my opinion, that really leads to asymmetric gains in the market. It's not trying to take every last opportunity or quote unquote opportunity on the small time frames. All right, scalping is good in sideways markets. Scalping in trends is foolish. It's foolish. It's a great way to take unnecessary risk and make a few dollars here and there, but it eventually it's a losing effort. Because you're underexposed, you're not focused on the right thing. You're busy fighting battles where the war is at hand and can be won with a few clever moves, especially early in the trend, yeah? Moving forward, you have Bonk, which is just hanging out in this consolidation trend. Hasn't done anything. Yes, the past 2 days have been red days, but essentially you're not, if you understand anything about price action, you're not bearish on this at all. You can't be, because you can see that you're in accumulation and you're at the bottom of the trend, and that if you went up in 3 waves here, you came down in 3 waves there, you understand that it's a probably, or not probably, it's definitely a 3-3-5. Okay? That's all it can be. It's a flat correction. You know that the next move is impulsive up. So that's what you're accumulating for. This is when you buy more. If you can read these charts, this is when you buy more, right? Because you can see exactly what's likely to play out. Okay, on Dent, on the daily time frame, you can see what a lot of assets are showing you. Again, it's a support and resistance play. If you pull your rectangle tool, okay, from where we're at, you can see that there is some resistance or support actually here, but that was resistance. And that resistance was the top of this massive inverse head and shoulders. Okay. It's a massive inverse head and shoulders. I think that's how you draw it. Maybe you could draw it like this. Something like that, yeah? But you see basically the nodes of the pattern. And you're at the right shoulder node. You broke the pattern to the upside. Remember, inverse head and shoulders are confirmed upon breaking the neckline to the upside and retesting it as support. That's literally what you're doing here. If you zoom out, you understand what's going on. People on Twitter who are, bears on Twitter that are trolling, maybe they're just doing that for engagement. That's fine. It's funny. But maybe some of them are serious and really are saying nice bull market and not seeing what's happening here. Okay, a lot of people characterize a bull market as higher highs and higher lows. While that may be true, a more precise definition for a bull market would be breaking staunch resistance and turning it into support over and over and over again. That is a bull market, because even if you make higher highs and higher lows, that can come all the way back down without that retesting of staunch resistance, because then it's just a bear market rally. Okay, and this is what makes this bull market a bull market. This is what makes it tried and true. This is what, if you are able to read price action, this is what makes you bullish and with conviction, okay? This is why you can buy and not worry so much and not have to hedge on these plays, because you see staunch resistance being broken right here and turned into support. You can see that throughout the markets, okay? We saw it here. You saw it here. At this level, whoops. At this level, sorry. Is that the level I wanted to show? No. Okay, this one and this one. Maybe you had one here, but it's not as significant. But these are the main two resistances broken as support. This one especially, right? Because you turn this massive downtrend that lasted almost 500 days into support, and you turn this 250-day accumulation channel into support with that one move right there, okay? This is what gives you conviction. This is what enables you to go long when others are fearful, right? Be greedy when others are fearful. And you can buy more and not just say you bought more to say you bought more, but because you can read the charts and see what's going on. Same with Dodo here. You can see you broke this massive resistance and you're retesting it in this move. And to see that retest, you have to zoom in, obviously. We will. But that's essentially what's going on. Having stayed above this level should give you all the confidence in the world to be bullish. Okay? So if you zoom in on the 4 hourly, you can see a little better what's going on here. It's clear that this is some sort of impulse right here. Okay? A 5-wave move. And what you're getting here is some sort of complex correction. Let's zoom in even more on the hourly time frame. And again, you can see what you're seeing throughout the market. Maybe you get another move down there. Maybe it was finished. Maybe this was a triangle, okay? Where you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe that was a triangle, okay? Again, you're getting bullish consolidation above crucial levels of support, okay? You're testing crucial level. You're breaking resistance, retesting it as support, and you're continuing. Everything, however complex, however confusing, can be distilled back to basic support and resistance. You're bullish when you're turning high time frame resistance into support. You're bearish when you're turning high time frame resistance, high time frame support into resistance. That's it, right? It can get a little more intricate, but when in doubt, just simplify and look at the market like that in a binary way, and try and figure out what's going on. And if you really can't figure out what's going on, or nothing's being done, no support is being broken, no resistances are being broken, then you're probably in a sideways market, in an accumulation, or in a distribution. That's another phase of the market. That's where if you do want to trade in and out, if you do want to trade channels, that's the best time. Otherwise, when you're breaking support or breaking resistance, you're trending, okay? And in a trending market, you want to play like you're trending. You don't want to trade in and out. You want to take a smart trade and be consistent. This is really what I'm just saying what has worked for me. And I don't brag about my my P&L and all that stuff, but I'm right now actively managing 22, let me see, 22, about 25 margin positions. And that's a lot. And I typically recommend that people not do a ton, but this is what I do for a living. So I look at them all the time, and I'm careful. But managing 25, I'm managing over $150,000 in long positions. Okay, maybe that's not a lot, maybe that's a lot to you, but in aggregate, that's a decent amount to me, right? Because we're working in a type of market in crypto where you don't have to put in that much to make a lot. Okay, you can put a few $100s into a position and let it grow into a few million. Okay, we know that. So that is relatively large for a seed investment, and I'm not doing that by trading in and out and in and out and in and out, right? I can only do that if I recognize a trending market and everything's one trade. Do you see what I mean? Again, just this is techniques. I'm talking about strategies. Everybody has their own trading style and what they like, what they feel comfortable with. You have to be true to that. But generally speaking, you want to trade trends by first recognizing the trend and then, taking advantage of that, because you don't get trends all the time. Most of the time, the market's sideways. Again, the market doesn't typically trend. Most of the time, it's sideways. Okay, Dogecoin. Zooming out. What's the story? Nothing's changed in terms of the overall story. Our major support levels have held. Okay? Here we see that this, actually, not this one, and this one, okay? You broke the channel, you broke back down into the channel, but you used the midline of the channel as support, okay? It was resistance, now it's support, so you're above that. And you came back down here because you had to retest this high time frame downtrend that you broke as support. So that was support right here. Then you come up, you break the accumulation channel, and this is basically your support held. And actually you didn't even test that again. Wasn't needed, because it seems as if on the smaller time frame you put in a nice bull flag. Again, a 5-wave move and some flavor of 3, okay? This is clearly a bull flag. Doesn't matter if it's WXYXZ or WXY. All that matters is whatever consolidation is done here, most likely complex, it respects the 0618 of the flagpole. Is it? Just barely. Let's see. This is kind of messy. Let's try. Okay, I would say about here. I'd say this is the bottom. Say this is the top. Okay, you're just barely respecting the 0618, okay? But, this is also something that I've seen in corrective patterns, in zigzags, where sometimes you wick below the 0618 a little much, but still it's a zigzag. So I would still count this as a zigzag, right? That's A, that's B. You're looking for C right there. Your purely impulsive wave up. Nothing bearish about this, right? If you get a couple days of bearishness, a lot of people have short memories and forget the trend. And this is how a lot of people lose in this market, because they lose focus about what's important. I was listening to Crypto Banter this morning, and they were talking about the Chinese and the Korean stock markets, and how Bitcoin had a correlation with them or something like that. And that may be why, it's just, that's not going to help you, right? Trying to figure out why is not going to help you. Just looking at the patterns, trying to make sense of the pattern, figuring out what is helpful. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? Is it sideways? Is major resistance being broken, support being held, major support being broken, resistance being held? That's what's going to help you as traders, right? Otherwise, the rest is just content creation. Please understand that. There's nothing wrong, but they have to fill up the time. But if you want to make money in the markets, you have to be focused. And you have to just look, what's going on? How can I take advantage of this? All right. So Harith Khalid says the best are PYR, IMX, and Gala. I don't have any of those, but if you want me to look at them, just let me know, and I can look at them later on in the show. Okay. So moving on. Also, guys, remember what happens if there's going to be a lot of people short squeezed today. Why do I know that? It's because look at this. So this is what this market looks like. Excuse me. Excuse me. This is a massive resistance that was broken 530 days, broken to the upside, retested as support, okay? Now, on the smaller time frames, what do you see? A microcosm of this. It's support and resistance. And support and resistance is not always in a straight line. Sometimes it's diagonal. Here we go. Let's make that a little thinner. Okay. So that is what's going on right now. Okay. And that's been forming for about 18 days. Okay. We are about to break this in Dogecoin. Right? So here, let's get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. If you look at Dogecoin, this is not just Dogecoin. A lot of different assets are going to be breaking high time frame resistances. In doing so, what you're going to see is a violent move up. Okay? Look what happened. And I'm just using Dogecoin as an example, but you can see this throughout the markets. Look at this right here. You do not want to be bearish on an asset that tests resistance like that, rejects, and comes back for more. You don't want to be bearish on something like that, because that's more likely than not a retest of support as resistance, but another try where it's going to consolidate at resistance for a breakout. Okay? And that may even have been the consolidation at resistance for a breakout. We don't know. But again, 18 days you've spent under this resistance, and you test it, and test it. Eventually you're going to break it. Okay? So this is definitely, when it does happen, people are, celebrating. If they're short, they're celebrating about a 6%, 7% move, 6% move, right? We'll do 6% in one candle. Just like you see here. This candle, this single candle right here in Dogecoin did 7%. Do you see what I mean? Like, this is why you don't worry about the counter trends. Because in 1 hour, it was less than 1 hour. I think it was even 15 minutes. Yeah, it's probably 1, 2, 3, about an hour. It's about an hour. In about 1 hour, whatever you retraced in 1 day, you made back. No, actually, whatever you retraced in multiple days, so like 3 days. So it took 3 days to go down 7%. You made it back in 1 hour. That's why you buy dips in trends, especially early on in the trend. Okay? We've been trending up since January 1st, 2023. It's been about 50 days, yeah? Because January is about 30 days. We're the 22nd. So 52 days. We're still early in the trend. Okay. So that was Dogecoin. Ethereum, same thing. You just want to zoom out. What's going on? What's the market telling us? Should I be bearish or bullish? Is this a bear market rally? You can answer all of these questions by looking at the charts if you understand how to read price action, right? You understand that this high time frame resistance was broken to the upside, right? This 400-day resistance that Ethereum was under broke to the upside, retested as support. This 230-day accumulation, or maybe 250-day, I'm not going to even measure it, but it was about 250 days, broken to the upside, retested as support right there, okay? So you know there's nothing bearish about the asset on a high time frame. Nothing whatsoever. Now, even on a lower time frame, you can see that since that retest right here, that pivotal retest, you moved up, most likely impulsively, and you came down in 1, 2, 3. Okay? Again, you could say it's a flavor of 3. You could say it's a WXYXZ. It doesn't really matter. It's a counter-corrective wave. This is the trend. This is the counter trend. Okay? So if you look at this, you understand there's nothing to be worried about. Because whatever this is, it's more likely than not going to find some support at a support area like the one we're at right now, right? You've seen that in the past. This area has been support. This area has been resistance, okay? So it's likely that this level for Ethereum hold, right? No indicators necessary. It's not really rocket science. It's just support and resistance. Just look at what price action is telling you, right? Read the story. And the story is that this level was resistance. This level was resistance. You broke above it. You broke below it. You broke back above it. Now it should be support because you're above it, right? It was resistance, a bit of support. Now it's it's support because you broke back above it and are holding it. Had you lost this level, then, we can look lower and we can talk about our being in a bearish trend. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. My kid's teacher is telling me not to be late. Okay. So, let's move on. So, Litecoin. What are we seeing here? Same deal. Zoom out, figure it out. This is a high time frame resistance. We're going to use a line just because it's a bit slanted. Okay? It's a high time frame resistance because in the past, price has shown us that this level was support, broke above it, broke below it, resistance finally broke above it, and now we're holding it. That's all this is. That's all this is. So if you look on a higher time frame, there's nothing bearish about this, okay? This is what enables you to be steadfast in your trading thesis, right? It's not a question of if you like these assets or if you're a Bitcoin bull or whatever. You just look at the charts and you try to understand what's going on. So jumping down in the 4-hourly time frame, what can you see? One, two, three. Okay, that's a 335. That's a flat correction. That's it. Holding rather significant support. That's it. It's actually a running flat correction where if this stays here and we turn around at this level, this proves to be quite bullish because, again, it's a running flat where the terminus of the C wave doesn't reach the bottom that the A wave reached. Okay? So that's what you see in Litecoin. You should expect a turnaround as well. RSR, I said yesterday that it was likely we did something like this just because you wanted to retest both this as support and you wanted to retest the top of this high time frame downtrend. If we zoom out a bit, you can see that there's even more at this level. This is an inverse head and shoulders, massive inverse head and shoulders. You break above, you retest as support, and it looks as if this may very well be a shallow retrace where we find support a little bit above the actual level. And that's fine. That's possible. That is something that you see in very bullish markets. You don't always have to come down back to the penny where you broke resistance. There just may be something where the buying pressure is just too much, and so you come shy of that level for the retest. Okay? So that's what I'm seeing with RSR. It's quite bullish. Again, it's bullish because the charts are showing us high time frame resistance broken and retested as support in this move, and you did expect some sort of retracement here and or consolidation at resistance because this midline of this 250-day channel does represent resistance because we're below it. So that's RSR. Let's see. One second. I gotta check something. One second. And one sec. Okay. All right. Okay, here, when you're looking at SHIB, it looks like a triangle. Okay, and this looks like a massive bull flag. This looks like a triangle. Okay, maybe it doesn't have to be, again, because there are a lot of different B waves. Okay, but essentially, what we want to do is we want to identify the trend and the counter trend. Okay, this is a trend. This is the counter trend. We should expect some continuation. That's it. And we said this yesterday. This is a level of support. This is proven. Level of support for many days since mid-January. So we came down to this level. We should get some sort of reaction, some sort of bounce. It's just support and resistance, guys. On the high time frame, are you bullish, bears, or sideways? Right? And then, based off of that, you zoom in, look at your support and resistance, try to count your waves, do whatever, it doesn't matter. Use your indicators and buy support, sell resistance, make a trade, decide where you're going. If you're going sideways, then you're probably chopping. Either you're accumulating, you're distributing, or you're trading up and down. If you're going up, you're just buying dips. If you're going down, you're selling. And, that's it. It's not too complicated. The execution may be a little more involved. It's harder to execute, right? With a clear head, clear mind, and not be scared. But fundamentally, theoretically, it's not that complicated. It's not hard. Here, it looks as if we have one of these complex corrections like this, okay, it's flagging, and it looks like a WXYXZ to me. That's what it looks like. I know I'm at support for sure. Why? Because this is the midline of my massive accumulation channel, and that is support when I'm above it, resistance when I'm below it. Okay, let's see, just checking the time. All right, Tron. Cliff BTC says the Bitcoin move violent right now. Let's check. Is Bitcoin moving? Oh, whoa. It's starting. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, when it does move, it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. There's a lot of people who think they're really clever, piling up shorts, you know, who think that we're still going to be trading sideways forever, for a year, right? Because their theory is that we don't get into the bull market until after the halving or something like that. They're going to be unpleasantly surprised by the price action when we do start trending up in proper fully impulsive form. Yeah, it's getting started. It looks like this was indeed the base bottom support level for Bitcoin, and you're moving up from here. So yeah, thanks for the heads up, Cliff. So JY says FOMC minutes market reaction. So, oh, is that it? You know, guys, you know I don't follow the FOMC. So the FOMC minutes. Okay, that's interesting. You know, a lot of these things are precipitating causes, and I don't deny that, because if you look, oh, it looks like we're putting in a flat correction for this DXY. But if you look, all these FOMC minutes and things, they are they directly affect the DXY, the US dollar currency index, right? And the DXY direct or indirectly affects the risk on assets. So I do believe there is a thing, right? But it's typically just going to precipitate whatever trend, and we can read the trends from the price action, right? A lot of people may erroneously believe that the trends are formed by these minutes and proclamations, but actually they just kick trends off. So that's interesting. So yeah, let's go if that's the case. But yeah, it looks like the DXY is pumping, but it's not really, because it's basically just hitting its head on resistance. It looks like we're going to form a flat correction instead of a zigzag, right? So this is going to be 3 waves down, this is going to be 3 waves up, and we're going to pivot at some point and come down. Okay. All right, so we have some volatility, but it looks as if this is indeed a local bottom for Bitcoin, and we're getting some sort of consolidation reversal at this level. All right, let's continue. I think we were at synthetics. I think we hit Tron. May have hit Tron. I'm not sure. I'm almost positive we were doing synthetics. So Tron is at a significant level of, well, it was at a significant level of resistance. It broke it, and now it's retesting it. Okay, that's what I'm seeing, right? You have, I think it's quite clear, you have this really, really nice inverse head and shoulders with the neckline over here. Okay, you broke that to the upside. You retest the resistance as support in a 3-wave move or a flavor of 3. You can see that on a smaller time frame. And so, you know, it just behooves you, if you're able to read these moves, these simple plays of support and resistance, that you trade the trends, right? We're not always trending, so you can't always say trade the trend. That's why when I started charting and trading, nobody told me that sometimes there is no trend. There is no real trend. They can be like micro trends, but those trends shift. When you're talking about sideways markets, you know, you can spend a few days trending, or a day trending, or a few hours trending, and then you're back into a corrective pattern. But there's no real trend where you can go to sleep and know that, you know, by hook or by crook, however you slice it, you're going to matriculate up and up and up, and from time to time you're going to pull in a counter. Okay, and this is just a 3-wave counter. Really simple. 5 waves up, 3 waves down. We have support here. We go 5 waves up. So, you know, it's really hard for me to see how people could be so bearish if they really, truly read charts. But again, I think people, you know, a lot of influencers are just making content, to be honest. And it doesn't sell to be consistent. It just sells to, you know, you want to be exciting. You want variation. People get bored. You know, they want to be titillated, I guess. XRP is still in its channel, but it's above this resistance. Okay, it's above this resistance of the midline. So here, all you did, again, 5 waves up, some flavor of 3. I think this is, again, a WXYXZ, so a complex 333 correction, but you should resume the trend. Again, it's just a bunch of bull flags. If you really, like, zoom out, it's just a bunch of bull flags. And that's probably going to target the top of the channel next. So that's XRP. Zilliqa, we talked about this yesterday. You put in this massive trend. I think you have to put this in with a line so that you can really see something like this. You're essentially breaking bullish you're breaking bullish out of a rising wedge. Okay? So you were trading in a rising wedge for many days, almost a month. A month and a half, actually, right? A month and a half, you broke out, you retested it as support, and you're breaking out of a rising wedge. And that rising wedge is serving as a retest of that high time frame resistance, turning it into support. So that's Zilliqa. There's nothing bearish about any of this. But again, maybe people don't know how to read charts, or they're just trying to farm content. VeChain, exactly what you see in synthetics. You were trading on through this range, you broke it to the upside, you retested it as support, right? What's a bull trend? What really makes a bull trend? Not higher highs and higher lows, but breaking crucial resistances and turning it into support, right? The repeated breaking of resistance, turning it into support, is the most bullish thing, right? That's bullish. If you're not retesting at support, resistances at support, that's the definition of a bear market rally, okay? It's not that complicated. Here, theta, you're pretty much just trading in this channel, but actually, this is a little misleading. I think what's happening here is this. You broke above this channel's resistance. You retested it in a 3-wave move, corrective pattern. You started your trend up again at this point, and all you're seeing now is a retest, or not really a retest. You could say it's kind of a retest of this level here, But it's both a retest of that level, so we can put it in. So it's both a retest of this level, and it's an intra-wave correction of these 5 waves. Okay, so you're essentially putting in a bull flag. We talk about bull flags all the time, and we've seen them. So that's your 5 waves up, 3 waves down between the 0.5 and the 6.8 Fibonacci retracement level of the flagpole, and then you continue. So that's all that's happening there. JY says, can you look at ACH Alchemy Pay, please? Yeah, definitely. Let's do that. We'll add it. Okay. We'll look at Alchemy Pay. I think we have a little more time. I do. My kid's teacher said not to be late to pick him up today, but very nicely. So I won't be late. So I'll go when I have to go, but I think we'll be able to get it in. Here, Telcoin, really bullish. Let's see. This is an inverse head and shoulders being retested right here. You broke it as support or resistance. You're retesting it as support in this flavor of 3. I think it's a simple ABC flat correction, 335 right here. And interestingly enough, this both serves as a retest of this inverse head and shoulders and a retest of this massive 600-day downtrend. Okay, because if you look on a higher time frame, you can see exactly what that is. Look at all of that. That's literally, you've been in a downtrend since May of 2021, okay, for Telcoin. So that's 650 days retested as support, broken, retested as support, right? So, I mean, it's going to get violent. It's going to get ugly for anybody that's going short on any of these projects. There's no two ways about it. The charts have been consistent, and I mean, I don't think we're like reading too much into it. It's just pretty clear, really strong bullish momentum. Here with Matic, here's what you're seeing. This is as bullish as it gets. This entire thing right here, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, whatever you think this is, you could say that this is some sort of cup and handle, right? Perhaps this is the cup, or sorry, this is the handle. It's an unorthodox cup and handle. Or you can say it's an Adam and Eve double bottom. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It's a structure, some sort of bullish structure of consolidation. You broke it to the upside here, and you're retesting it as support. So, for all intents and purposes, this very move that we got here, that people are saying, haha, I told you so, like, nice bear market rally you got there, would be a shame if it broke down like it just did. It's not breaking down. It can't be more bullish because you're never leaving any crucial resistances unverified, unchecked, as and unflipped into support. So that's really, really bullish. So that's how I'm seeing Matic right there. DYDX, same thing. Almost exactly the same thing, right? Whatever you think this is, if this is a cup and handle, whatever, this is the neckline breakout retest, right? And that retest is essentially 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's some kind of running flat correction, okay? It's not the prettiest, but again, learn to read and see the patterns and not be not be too rigid in your interpretation of these correction patterns. Corrective patterns are probably some of the hardest things to read in price action. And so I actually spent most time learning and studying and trying to master corrections. Trends are easy, right? right? Trends are, obviously they can get complex as well, but when you're in a trend, right? But corrective patterns, that's when you use them. You use them to enter trends. You use them to figure out when consolidations are going to end, distributions are going to end. It really pays to learn your corrections. And so this, while it may look unorthodox, it's just a regular flat correction. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing with DYDX. Same thing for Harmony. And I actually, this, of my 22 different positions, this was the only one that got stopped out. I got stopped out for a lot of profit, right? Because this is something I got in during this accumulation. But I set all of my stops into profit, and I didn't know that we were going to come down to where we did, but it's fine. I got stopped out for a lot of profit, got back in the position with even higher leverage, because I'm like, this is a great move. I want to even increase my position. I want to increase my exposure. So that's what I did. And I used the rest to buy rare. So you broke out of this massive move, okay? Again, it doesn't really matter if you're a pattern trader. Oh, that's a inverse head and shoulders, or that is a cup and handle. It doesn't matter. It's a bullish structure. It's definitely a consolidative, accumulative structure. You broke the neckline. You retested it as support. That's all you need to know. It's very bullish. And this is our level of support now. Okay, that was resistance. MOVR, same thing. Just zoom out. Guys, everybody's on the 5-minute chart, the 12-minute chart, looking for, I don't know, what do market set for people look for? Green dots, red dots on the 6.5-minute chart or whatever. Like, you want to zoom out, formulate a thesis, and use that to inform your biases on the smaller time frames. That's not because it just makes sense. You want to do what makes sense, what's high probability. Staying zoomed in, you lose perspective. You don't know what you're doing and what's going on. And then you have no commitment. And when you're not committed, you have to hedge. And when you have to hedge, you really destroy your earning potential because you have no clue. You don't have the confidence to build positions. You don't have the confidence to say, yes, this is highly probable that this is going to go in that direction, and I'm going to take advantage of that. Because when we get that big break to the upside, a lot of people are going to be surprised. Not so for people who are reading the high time frame trends, high time frame moves, like this inverse head and shoulders break and retest, right? Break, retest. And again, you're retesting in a 1, 2, 3 flavor of 3. In this case, this is your zigzag, 5 through 5. It's simple. But obviously, if you're zoomed in too far, you can't see. You can't read. Here, you have a double bottom that most people claim never happened in the crypto markets. Again, there's a lot of fraudulent analysis out there. A lot of people are saying there is no double bottom on these in these crypto markets. So you want to be careful because we're going to form another bottom, right? When you clearly have double bottoms across the board. So this would constitute some sort of cup and handle, some sort of W bottom. It doesn't matter, Adam and Eve, whatever you want to call it. It was broken to the upside. So these are confirmed when you break the resistance to the upside and retest it as support. That's the key, the retest as support. And that's when that's the ideal entry, okay? If you want to enter the breakout, if you want a breakout trade, that's the ideal entry, okay? And that pattern should play out. Again, the other thing we can notice is that you're basically using that midline as support. So this is bullish because you flipped not only this pattern, but also the midline as support. From resistance into support, okay? Same story. Polka dot, what do you see? A massive inverse head and shoulders, okay? Remember what these inverse head and shoulders are. You shouldn't be surprised to see them. Inverse head and shoulders, if you go on Investopedia, you'll see that they're reversal patterns, right? Inverse head and shoulders are bullish reversal patterns. Head and shoulders are bearish reversal patterns. So when you have a high time frame downtrend, you shouldn't be surprised that on the 4-hourly chart, daily chart, you can spy an inverse head and shoulders taking you into changing the trend from bearish to bullish, right? So, yeah, broke the neckline, retested it as support, and we go. Key, we talked about yesterday. Same thing. Massive move to the upside here. A break of resistance, retest as support, and you go. Lit entry, this is one that I just got into yesterday. Here we go. A high. I mean, this is just, I mean, you can't, honestly, if you are trading, if you have TradingView, if you have a chart, how do you see any bearishness in this whatsoever? You know, this is so fundamentally bullish. Not in the sense that people think bullishness is. When you show people a chart and they see, you know, up only price action, they'll be like, oh, that's bullish. And then they see, you know, a downtrend, they say that's bearish. You can get a little more subtle than that, but this is actually not even that subtle, right? Whoops. What the hell are we doing? Okay, let's try and do that again. I'm not sure what happened. Here. This is a massive double bottom. Okay, what people claim never happened, an Adam and Eve double bottom. Or you can call it a cup and handle, doesn't matter. It's a bullish structure, broke to the upside, retested as support. If you go on the smaller time frames, you'll see that there's a flavor of 3, right? We can do that. 1, 2, 3, right here. 1, 2, 3. There's a quick flavor of 3 retracement that takes you from the break to the retest. Simple. On the new moon, right? Everything kind of falls into place. Everything is saying the same thing. You're getting a slight retracement on the new moon, right? The 19th, or on the 19th. Yeah, there we go. On the new moon, you're getting a slight retracement, which you should expect, which yielded a crucial flip of resistance into support. And now you get to go bullish again for, 2-3 weeks. Don't be surprised if February ends up being a lot more impulsive to the upside, or there's a lot more gains in February, even though there's only about a week left. A lot more gains in February than we even had in January, because this is when we get violent. We only get violent after you break these high time frame resistances, which we're doing right now. Okay, it doesn't go in a straight line. It doesn't go linearly. So many new traders, new market speculators think if it took us 30 days to do 50%, then it's going to take us 90 days to do 150%. They think in linear terms, but markets, especially crypto markets, move parabolically. They're not linear when they're trending. So this I loved, and one of the reasons I got in. I mean, everything looks good now because we're in a bull market, right? That's another sort of hint as to what market phase we're in. You just go into your trading view, look at your watch list. Everything looks great, right? This is clearly some sort of impulse. This is clearly some sort of retracement. It's messy. It's volatile. A flavor of 3 retracement. Find support here. I bought support, and now I'm just going to let my money run. I had some money sitting in the account, and why not let it grow? We're in a bull market, so I'm going to be maximally exposed, especially when I see these kinds of patterns, right? Again, double bottom, which people say we need the double bottom. Guys, do your own homework, do your own research. There's so much fraudulence, so much, right? You can't listen to these big accounts. Sometimes some big accounts are good, but you have to be discerning. You have to be you have to do your own research. There's a lot of fraudulence. People who have no idea what they're talking about. They can't read a chart. They're only interested in what's going on the 5-minute chart. Maybe they don't make much money trading, and they make most of the money from your referrals and from your clicking and liking and subscribing. So use your discernment, do your own research. All right, let's look at let's look at Alchemy Pay for JY and call it a stream. Because I can't be late to pick my son up. Alright, so let's add it. If we haven't added it yet. ACH. Okay, let's add the Binance chart. Okay, and let's zoom out. So, wow, this is almost in price discovery. Okay, so this is, I mean, if you've been holding this since the beginning of the year, when the bull market started in most assets, you're up already 5x, which is awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, there's not too much to be said, but this is exactly what you can expect in a bull market for low cap altcoins to front run this entire thing. You have big accounts telling you that Bitcoin dominance is bullish, i.e. Bitcoin is going to gain against altcoins in the immediate, in you know, right now. And so what you want to do, if you're big brain, if you want to make money, you hold Bitcoin, because these altcoins are going to bleed up against Bitcoin. But we're in a bull market. That's false, of course. We're in a bull market, and you see that in a bull market, Bitcoin dominance tends to trend down. And the reason it trends down is because altcoins have lower market cap, and so they're more volatile. And as a result, they front run the trends. This is front running the bull market right here. Breaking high time frame resistance, retesting it as support somewhere down here, and just going, right? Again, resistance, broken, retested as support, gone. Pretty soon, I mean, this is already what I would call technical from here. I would call this is the 25K, this is the equivalent of 25K for Bitcoin. If you look, you can see there's a mire of, this is a channel, there's a lot of trading being done here. Basically, you flipped the trend using this sideways price action. You absorbed this downtrend using this sideways price action. You came up, you broke, you retested, and now you're in what I would call technical price discovery. All right, obviously a lot of people say you're only in price discovery once you make a higher high, but I would say this is technical price discovery because there's virtually no resistance from here on out. So you can expect it to do what it's doing, which is like, you know, putting in 100% daily candles or whatever it's doing. So yeah, that's a great project. JY says the big influencers aren't looking at many alts. They're only looking at a few. Yeah, no problem. Happy to check it out. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for today. I can't be late to pick my son up. You know, just zoom out, look at what's going on, and, you know, don't lose focus. That's what I would say. This is really the best way to make money. When you're in a trend, you trade the trend, you pay attention to the trend. Obviously, you look at what the counter trend is doing. You just check that the trend is still intact. And if anything, you buy more with the retests of the support being broken and flipped into, or resistance being broken and flipped into support. All right. That's it for me. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.